Green Jeans Garden, PLC. Green Jeans Garden.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So last week I told you guys I'd been fooling around with some lettuce and that I wanted to do it on a little bit bigger scale, and I was going to use my 2x4 tent here to do it. And I asked you guys, did you want to see one solid, nice, big single spectrum grow with the light that was up there before? Or did you want to see me possibly do a little bit of a side-by-side here and do a 3K base versus a 4K base in the photo booth? Just to kind of show how much, a 6-7% increase in blue, or shift to blue, vice versa, however you want to look, shift to red, will affect the growth of some plants. These are obviously leafy greens, not our usual suspects here, but nonetheless would be a cool little experiment, and the votes have spoken, and that's what you guys want to do. So that's what I have here in front of us. And last week when I started this, I told you I'd be germinating some seeds. And we got those ready to go. What I germinate 14 here, or 14 cubes with 2 in each, and got probably like a 96% success rate. I had 1 cube that didn't germinate at all, and 2 cubes that only 1 of the 2 seeds germinated. But that's perfect because each one of these that has 2, we're going to kill or cull off 1, so there's only 1 head per. And that should be just fine. And it's time to get these girls up because this is lettuce and we already got her growing out the bottom of the cube, so we want to get them into some good medium. So time to start the grow. And like I just said, I did build the lights to support the side-by-side grow. Kind of hard to see here, but we do have the 3K base on the left and a 4K base on the right. Total efficacy wise, they are pretty close. In real world output, we're not going to see a difference, and we'll be measuring each plant's PPFD level to match that over the grow. And these are 2 independent fixtures as far as hanging. They're completely separate. One swings, the other doesn't. They're separated, but they are being ran by one 320 watt Osram driver. They're being ran by one at 1440 milliamps. So that guarantees that every strip is getting the exact same current. Voltages may be slightly different, but overall basically guarantees the same output. And I am getting in here right now to transplant these up because, as I just showed you, the roots are ready to go. Those need to find some medium, so I need to do that. But there's a couple last things I need to do before this tent is fully ready. I'm going to build a stand. These are going to be elevated up above these vents here because these are lettuce. We're not going to have to worry about height issues. So we're going to put these on a stand, elevate these up. So that's step 1. These will be hand fed, but we might have a res, so that can go underneath, some tools, this or that. But the other thing is, once we get the stand, we will put a light divider up here. I'm going to use my standard reflective foam. It's called R-Tech. It's insulation foam. You get Home Depot, Lowe's, all that stuff. I'm going to use 2 half-inch pieces, again, so it's equal. R-Tech on one side is reflective with Mylar, the other half is just foam, so I want to use 2 very, very thin pieces so that each side has some reflectivity, and again, to try to keep the sides as equal as possible. This is lettuce, so there's more photons than necessary here. There's 320 watts, or, what's that come out to? About 160 watts per side here. We probably only need about 100 watts of dissipation or less, but this is not my usual grow room setup, so I want to make sure I keep the heat and temperature in check as well, mid to upper 70s ideally. So to do that, I might end up running some of these higher, keeping the PPFD the same, but making sure I'm burning some wattage in there to keep the heat up. But I'll keep you guys updated throughout the grow as that goes along. So to get it started, let me, first I'm going to transplant these up into cubes, and then we'll cull them off in like a day or 2. So let me get these transplanted up. All right. There we go. Now we're looking like a little side-by-side. So obviously, I guess this is still the same video, so it's just a couple seconds for you, but it has been about 3 days since I got all these plants transplanted up and underneath the lights. And it took me 2 days to get the official light divider, although I had one temporarily. It didn't quite go end to end, but there wasn't any major mixing of any kind. But officially, we have something that's more or less light tight. Is what it is. So all it is 2 half-inch pieces of R-Tech. side to side. That way they both have a Mylar siding. Reflectivity is as even as possible and only takes up an inch of the center. So not too bad at all. And as you guys already know, we got the 3K on the left and 4K on the right. And other than that, we are just going to let these girls, or I keep calling them girls, but I don't actually know how that works with lettuce. Anyway, we're going to let these plants continue to grow. We figure it'll be probably about a 30-day cycle. So 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks to go at this point for sure. And already looking okay. Some good growth so far. Both sides look pretty even. Don't see any major differences as of yet. And they've all been culled or thinned to one head per, as well as over in my actual, my main grow room, I have one plant left over. And the reason being is because, or not left over, but put over there for a reason. Reason being, because that plant I showed you at the beginning was successfully done over there. So I like the parameters I have. I like the light spectrum, every little bit. The other main thing is this is not environmentally controlled basically at all at this point. I mean, it can be easily, but there's very little environmental control going on in this tent right now. So at night, my temperatures are dipping a little bit more than over in the other room that stays at pretty much a constant 80 degrees day or night, 24/7, 365. So over there, it's freaking perfect. Plants love it, especially so. It's amazing. This, a little bit more temperature fluctuation going on. So we have great light, no issues there, but we're kind of running into some temperatures that are closer to an outdoor situation because I'm in my garage, which is uninsulated. Again, Southern California, so it's not the worst by any means, but still we're in the winter. Temps are hitting in the tent 67, 68, not too bad, but is what it is. So how I've chosen to monitor this tent, there was a couple ways I was going to do it. I was just going to use the AC Infinity fan, which has temp and humidity on there, and will activate some things. But instead, I went the good old Amazon route, and I picked up a couple SON on-off. S on-off is how I always pronounce it, but SON off, whatever. S on-off is how you spell it. And they make a ton of things. They make smart switches or smart plugs, smart switches. But what they also do above, like I use a couple smart switches. Like I've got these Govies. You can get any cheap Amazon switch. Here's a Govie, but I got these SON off so I can all run it off the same app. But these monitor your power so we can tell how much wattage the light is drawing and not have to use a kilowatt meter or build a wattage box or anything. Like we don't have to build this because these plugs do power monitoring. So we know exactly that. On top of that, outside of their like ready to go products, they make a lot of stuff that's friendly for DIY. So they make something similar like this that you would put in a light fixture that could give it some wireless control. This one is, there's two products that really got me on to SON off and why I'm going to stick with them. Mainly this temp humidity thing. So this is a temp humidity monitor, just like anything else. It's got this little sensor. This does temp and humidity, and kind of the key to this is it's a relay. So it doesn't just give you a reading of temp and humidity. It lets you control something accordingly, aka an inline fan. So when it gets too hot, relay comes on, fan goes on. Gets too cold or too humid, whatever, you have something to trigger on. Any other ones like Govee or any other basic Amazon product doesn't give you the triggering ability. You can monitor things left and right. I got tons of temp and humidity monitors from these guys, but like the SON off, they give you a trigger to do it. So that's key. The other thing is they have a pretty cool camera if you want to do some cameras. And then the last little thing is they actually have a soil moisture monitor that is works with this device, the TH10 and TH16s. I'll be getting into that. So links for these are in the description, just if you want to check them out. Just Amazon stuff. I do get a kickback from Amazon. Doesn't cost you anything if you go through my link, but just a heads up on that. I have to disclose that legally. But I'll be doing some videos on the SON off products because they've been in the DIY industry for a while. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen them, but a couple of them are just making it, like I said, mainly this device, being able to trigger other devices accordingly. You know, it's basically a simple logic of this then that system. really just is killer. So I've been using this a lot, show this off, as well as, like I said, the power monitoring of this is pretty key. So let's just, okay, how would we go? So you download the link, you go in, and so right here I've got main LED light. Shows power running 117 watts, yada yada. Turn it on, turn it off. Pretty simple there. And then the next one is the environmental control, so we can see it's currently off, shows 71, 53, yada yada, but now it's on. So if something was next to that, and here, listen, you can hear the relay go on and off. That little clicking is the relay going on and off. So you hear that, you're able to trigger an inline fan, which I don't currently have set up to this, but very simple. And that's really it. So have a little bit of control, a little bit of monitoring. So we have it all controlled by the app, which is great. Camera's on there too. Camera's actually over in the other grow room right now. Check that out. It moves is the other cool thing about this camera. So that's cool. It moves around. Anyway, you can do a lot with this, monitor it, push notifications, the usual. Not saying it replaces a Trollmaster by any means or any kind of major monitoring system or grow room control system, but when you're in a tent, you're just doing some whatever, you have a small room, you don't need to invest in something like that. There's a lot of cheap, everything for this, the switches, everything, that's like, I think that's the most expensive at like 15, 20 bucks. Those switches are like $5 a piece. Like this stuff is extremely cheap. You can say, hey Google, control this. Hey Google, what's the temp in my lettuce tent? Like you can do that with these products, and I'm not going to set this up to Google. I don't need connectivity everywhere. I just need to be able to monitor it elsewhere, and these allow it to do it. So anyway, that's what's up for now. This is the lettuce grow. Don't worry. We still grow other things on this channel, so don't worry. I promise you. But this is the lettuce tent. Excited to get this off and going. And like I said, results come quick with lettuce. Already seeing them here, so excited. Oh man, we're getting a call. So I gotta answer this call. I'm gonna upload this video, and I will see you guys later. Peace.
Green jeans